Now, this is a question from GCSE paper 1, which is about records. So records are relatively new to the spec, and it's not something that's necessarily that easy to write in Python, but this is pseudocode, so we have to remember that we're not quite using Python here. It's pseudocode. It's just a way of describing an algorithm. So we're using records, and they've defined a record here with the start and the end of the record. And we've got a title, which is a string, and all this does is tell us what the film is. The certificate, which is also a string, the year as an integer, and being shown as a Boolean value. And then they've assigned some values to that. So the film Hulk has got the name Hulk. It's a 12A. It's 2005, and it's not being shown, so it's false at the moment. And then they've done the same thing for two other films, Iron Man and Ant-Man here. And then we've got two variables, one year and one position, which are both set to 0 at the beginning. So then we've got this bit of code at the bottom, which is a for loop. So we can kind of assume here that we're going to go through the film collection and look at each film. And it tells us up here that it outputs the title of the newest of the 3 films. So in the collection of 3 films, it's going to look at the year as an integer number and decide which one is the biggest number, basically. So if film collection at I dot year, and this is the notation we use to access one of the items in the record, so dot year is greater than year, which is currently at 0, then year gets film collection at I dot year. So basically it's going to go through, and first time it will look at the film Hulk and it will get 2005, and so year will become 2005, position will become 0 still, because position is the I for I equals 0 to 2. The next time it will go through, it'll get 2008, because 2008 is more than 2005, and the last time it'll get 2015, and that's more than 2008, and then it will have finished. So we'll output the film collection at position and title, and it says it's the newest film. So that's the algorithm. We don't need to know too much about that really, apart from this filling in of L1 in a minute. But there are then some multiple choice questions. So the first one is just how many different values can the field being shown have? So being shown is a Boolean. So Booleans only have 2 values, true or false, yes or no, 1 or 0. It's just 2 values. So that's all they're looking for you to do there, is to know that a Boolean's got 2 values. Which assignment statement changes the year the film Hulk was made to 2003? Well, we've already got something to go on here, because we can see how the assignment statements work in the algorithm we've got. So we know that the dot notation here accesses one item of it. So Hulk.year gets 2003, will be fine. And that will do that for us. So then this one, what should the label in L1 be replaced by? Well, if we were writing Python, then Python ranges. It could be that one, or it could be that one, but we're not writing Python. We're writing pseudocode, and pseudocode ranges finish where they finish, so it'll be this one. Len film collection -1. So the film collection is size 3, because we've got 3 things in it. So for I in range 0 to 2 is going to do 0, 1, 2. And in pseudocode that works. In Python we'd need to have one more than the range. But when it's pseudocode, you've always got to think about this idea that it's the range is the range, not one extra. It's a little bit confusing when you're so used to writing Python, probably, but many languages don't operate the same way that Python ranges do, and this is a fairly standard way of doing this. So that one could cause you a few issues in the exam, but just remember, if it's pseudocode, the range is as it is. It's not one more like it is in Python. And then the last thing we need to do is write a pseudocode statement that updates Ant-Man to show that the film is currently being shown. So Ant-Man dot, what's the field called, being shown. And it's pseudocode, so we need the backwards arrow. And it's true. Ant-Man.being shown is true. And that's just trying to see whether you can do the dot notation and whether you can remember that pseudocode is backwards arrows. So that's just a few questions on this sort of pseudocode idea and records.